All right, good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dominic Bizzardo. I'm an Integrated Regional Director with Take Shape for Life, and I'm on with Justin Avini, Global Director, and we're going to be leading today's Senior Coach to BED Executive Director Bootcamp call. So by now, you guys have gone over a lot of different things, actually. I think we're in our fourth week of these boot camps, and so we should be all getting close, right? We should all be getting close to that blended executive director path right now. So I just wanted to recap just on a couple of different things that you guys have already gone over. So you guys have already touched on the importance of a three-way call. So guys, if you can mute yourself, if you're not speaking, if you can mute yourself, that'd be great. Let me do that. Sorry, I'm having trouble muting. Yeah. So you've already gone over the importance of three-way calls, getting your mentorship involved, whether they're a candidate, whether they're a coaching candidate. You've seen the power of what they can do. You've also touched on some additional trackers that we have, whether it's the map or the Facebook trackers, things like that to keep your business organized, your schedules, just for time management. And then last week, you guys went into Facebook and how to maximize that. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on that, get some of the feedback from the individuals out there, and kind of see how it went. So I'm going to start with some slides. I'm going to share my screen and pop that up, and then we'll just kind of go a little bit of it. Let's see, share the screen. All right, can everybody see that? Perfect. So last week, Emily and Adam, they spoke about Facebook and why it was important. Facebook is a tool that in the very beginning, I can tell you that my wife and I struggle with, but now it's probably our biggest ally. Many of you know my wife, Rosie Bizzardo. She was completely against me using Facebook. And let me tell you, if we didn't go through Facebook, a lot of the things that we've accomplished in our business, we probably wouldn't have. And a lot of the people that we've been able to help and get off medication, I had a client come through Facebook that I spoke to in 18 years, helped him lose 120 pounds. And now he's actually a coach within Take Shape for Life. And now his family's lost over 500 pounds. So, I mean, it's super important as a way to just maximize our exposure and reconnect and build relationships with those individuals that we may have lost contact with over the years, just because life happens. So it's a platform to get involved in different groups that are in our local communities without physically having to leave the four walls of our home, but get reconnected with those relationships. So definitely,
guys, guys, can you mute yourselves, please? If you're on the call, if you're on the call, can you please mute yourselves?
Perfect. So definitely can get out there and maximize the exposure. We went over different Facebook campaigns as well, before and after pictures, healthy quotes, things like that you're going to want to be posting. Also, I believe they touched on Hootsuite and how to manage your social media. Another one that they may have gone over was Cinduit to help you manage your Facebook, because if you're not used to it, Facebook can be something that could overwhelm some people. So getting organized with that and planning is what Facebook's all about. Just kind of like the 5-in-1 planning and planning out our days. That's planning out Facebook and the posts and living our life out loud. That's something that those two sites, Hootsuite and Cinduit, can really help out with. So we talked about the organization, consistency with it. The more you do it, the more people are looking. I mean, people are following, whether you believe it or not, and following the simple systems that we have set up for you are going to be so important, and they're so key when it comes to this business. I know we've had individuals in the past that have been watching us for 9 months to a year on Facebook. We've had family members where we've reached out in the beginning of what we started doing. We added them as friends on Facebook, and then almost every time we post something in regards to the business, we get a private message of some sort. So it's a very, very powerful client and coach acquisition tool if used effectively. I mean, just yesterday we had a post and we signed up 2 people because of the post that we did, and it was just going through, messaging them, commenting on their comment that they did, and just following up with a like. That's simply where it came from. It was just an individual that commented on our photo. We commented back, and later on that day we had an interested call, and now we're going to be helping them on the path to get healthy, and they need to lose close to 100 pounds. So super important. And you want to get those conversations started. So last week, I know they went over starting up 100 conversations and the tracker that goes along with it. So Facebook, but that's not the only tool that we have in this business, and that's not the only tool that's going to help you on your journey to executive director and growing your business. Okay? From however you want to take it, whether it's executive director or further, or it's not the only tool that's going to be in your bag of tricks to help you help clients, help you help people get healthy. So it's just one of them. One of the biggest ones that we're going to speak to today is getting your mentorship involved and working on three-way coaching and team coaching. So we kind of went over, you started senior coach is where you hit, and now you're on your way up. If you look at this arrow, the next step on the journey is blended executive director. But if you look all the way to the bottom left in the corner, sometimes gets overlooked, it's three-way conversations. And if I can stress anything to you, it's get your mentorship involved. Get your mentorship involved on whether they're explorer calls for a new client, whether they're a possible celebration call with an individual that just completed their first week, somebody that's finished their first month, transitioning, whatever it is that you want to get extra help in, you want to get exposure, congratulations, or they're struggling, or you just see like this person has a great personality and I think they would be good at what we do, get a third party involved for that credibility and watch it work its magic. So three-way conversation.
I think that's so important too, Dom. And another thing, guys, too, is as we look at this and we have an outside view looking in, with these three-way calls with your mentors, if we kind of start posturing that at the beginning, we want to look at this as there's other areas of this program that's going to help benefit people, right? Healthy minds, healthy finances. So, as you do these three-way calls, things kind of come up in the conversation. Your business mentor is going to kind of show you some of the key questions to ask, to look for, to kind of help. And then also, if you think about it this way, it almost starts that client, integrating them in as if they're going to become a coach. They already understand what a Zoom is, what a three-way call is. So that way you don't find that maybe that kind of a struggle at the beginning when you're starting to talk to them. A key thing for me is when I do startup calls with my clients, I'm already engaging them in the fact that they're going to meet my business mentor. They're going to get celebrated on their first week weigh-in. So as you're kind of sharing this and celebrating them, and then also finding out what other areas this program can benefit them, they're kind of already getting used to that through a Zoom call. So that's not I guess in a sense, I don't use the word issue, but it's kind of not a struggle for them at the beginning to just say, okay, well, that's what we did at the beginning, so that's what we're going to do moving forward. So I think three-way calls are awesome, Dom. Absolutely.
Perfect. So we're going to move on to my next slide. And it's just recapping and understanding the point system to advance your business forward. So I know individuals can hit and move on through the ranks to executive director many different ways, starting with having 0 clients, but having 5 senior coach teams if you look on the right, or they can have about 5 clients and a 1,200 frontline volume and have 4 senior coaches, and you can see all the way through the line how it would work. You can end up with having 0 senior coach teams, and then you're hitting it on your own with 6,000 frontline volume. So these are different ways of doing it, but if you look, some of the easier ways are, and to build a solid foundation and business that we're speaking to, because we're all doing this because we want to touch as many people that we can. We want to have a little mixture of both, and that will help you and getting your business kind of into that fat burn state. You're there right now when you hit senior coach, but it's like, how do we advance it forward? Well, it's getting that foundation and it's getting coaches involved along with clients at the same time. Now, that's where it can be kind of scary. And we just want you to know that your mentorship is here for you, okay? We're here for you in many ways than you think. I mean, you may have been senior coach and now you're moving on up to the next level, but you may still feel like, I don't really know how to acquire clients. Well, your coaching staff is here for you. Your mentorship is here for you to show you how to do that. Okay. So because you have 5, maybe you have 7 clients, it doesn't mean that, hey, you're on your own. Go acquire the clients because now you know how to do it. If you're still having maybe some concepts when it comes to speaking to individuals, or you don't feel like you know exactly what to say, at any given time, your mentorship is there for you to help with those conversations. I know currently we still get our mentorship involved. Our direct mentorship line is Jamil Frazier. We still get him involved in client celebration calls. We still get him involved in exploratory calls. I mean, it just depends on your relationship with the individual and your comfort level, kind of where you're at in your business, because that's what your mentorship team is there for. It's not there for just to give you the information and say, now go do it. We want to make sure that you're comfortable in executing the information you've been provided. So
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I absolutely use my mentorship too. And it kind of goes back to those 3-way calls, right? If your mentor is kind of just telling you, you know, hey, I'm here to help you, use them as a stepping stool to project you forward. You know, I think one of the coolest things is like when we first did the script, right? And we weren't comfortable with it. We kind of had to be in a stagnant place, had the script out in front of us. And then once we got confident enough, we could, you know, do it on the fly. So I think that's the thing you need to do is make sure you're working with your mentorship till you're comfortable. And even like Dom said, till this day, I've been doing this 3.5 years, and I feel Jamil in. If there's a call or something I feel he can benefit in that conversation for the client or for the potential coach, it's kind of silly not to. I mean, this is a great business where you have that support. So definitely use that support and don't feel like you're bugging them or they're too busy. You know, we're here for you guys when you want to move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So understanding who is in your support is very important, though. And so Justin had mentioned that he gets on calls for his coaches, but which coaches can you reach out to? So normally in your support group, by now you guys should have a Facebook messaging support group. It should be a business support group, actually. And you should have your immediate business coach involved and then their mentorship. So that's your line of mentorship. So you should have multiple people that can help you out with these calls. And, you know, getting a lot of these different individuals onto calls with you will only help you because you could take a little bit of each one of what they do and make it your own. I know we have a few different, we have Jamil and Amanda, they're our direct, but we also have Becky, and getting these individuals involved and pairing them even with the personalities of your future clients, your current clients, or future coaches or current coaches is very important. So understanding the dynamics and who can mesh well with these individuals can be a strategy that you use to just better help your clientele and your coaching team. So just be aware of that. It doesn't have to be just your direct business coach. It can be their coach as well, and anybody that's in that messaging support group. So when you do have a call of some sort that you're going to be setting up, make sure that you throw it out there into the messaging group. It doesn't have to be side text, but get it out there because you never know. There could be individuals that you may be struggling with getting your direct business coach on the phone, but hey, their mentorship is free at that time, and your mentorship as well, and they'll be happy to get a call with you. And I know those calls were great. So the different type of calls that we encourage you to get your mentorship involved in to help build your business, those are we're going to go over right now. And I can tell you, and I know in a minute after I go over this slide, I know Dawn's not leading this call, but I want her to mention something that's been going on in her organization once we get through this slide. So the first call is simply a candidate call, you know. So who would be on that call? Well, it would be an individual that you've written on your list already and that you want to help get healthy. So maybe they're the top 5 or 10 that you're trying to get healthy. So you would invite them onto a 3-way call, and you would be on there. So you would be considered the new coach. In this slide, you would be considered the new coach, and then one person from your mentorship team. So it would be the 3 of you doing an Explorer call. And you may say, well, you know, I kind of already know how to do an interested call, kind of go over the program. I already know that stuff. Well, this is just the third-party credibility coming in is very, very key to breaking down some walls, breaking down some barriers. I mean, how many people have been on a call, whether it would be with a struggling client, and you bring your mentor on, and the next thing you know is they're throwing up all this extra information that they never disclose to you in your support calls. I mean, blink your eyes if that's true, and that's happened to you. I mean, sorry, I can't stop. It's almost like I got something in my eye. It happens all the time. So, I mean, you can do that when they're a candidate to, you know, get healthy. Also, if you've identified them as an individual that you think would be very good at coaching, they would be considered a coach candidate, whether it's their personality, whether it's their love for the program or whatnot. Get them on a call, 3-way Zoom, your mentorship and yourself, and watch the magic happen. And then, you know, earlier in this presentation, I mentioned really want to get them on a call to celebrate them as often as we can. So don't think that it's just, you know, the exploratory call and then maybe when they're struggling or later on when they're transitioning or when I think they're ready to become a coach. No, you know what? Celebrate the victory that these individuals have. Let them know that there's support from all levels on their journey. They're not alone in it. I mean, I know they have their client support groups through Facebook, but let them know that there's people in their corner that they can physically get on these calls with that will help them. And it's not just yourself as their direct coach, but there's multiple levels, many levels of support that's ready to help them and jump in at any time. So celebrate them for everything. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think that's so important, Dom. You know, we kind of talked about that towards the beginning of the call too. You know, when you're celebrating them, I don't know how many times, you know, in the beginning of coaching that I really didn't do that, but now just to see everybody just so excited, and then, you know, we add them to what we would do is like a small client support call to link them with our mentors. That extra layering is just, it's magnificent because they really reach out and they start to, I think, kind of see that it's just not some diet or some weight loss thing. It's more of like you're integrating into a community of support, people that are like-minded. I've had probably 4 or 5 3-way calls this last week where people were genuinely excited to get on with us and be able to see that it's bigger than just them and their coach. So very important for these client celebration calls. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know in our organization with our coaches, we're doing with our clients probably even before they become senior coach. So they start as a client and then they hit senior coach. Let's look at it like that. They've probably already done 5 3-way calls with us. So you may ask, 5? How are we doing 5? Well, you know, we're doing 1 with the exploratory call. So with our new coach, the potential client candidate, and ourselves. So we're doing 1 when we're talking about the program, their health goals, everything like that. And then once they start the program, they're about 7 days in, they've lost that 5, 10 pounds, whatever it may be, and they're on their high, they're super happy, they're feeling great during fat burn. You know, we do a call right then and there, and we talk about it. What's been going good, what maybe they've struggled with or whatnot. And that's within the first week, okay? So that's at their first week weigh, and we try to set it up as close to possible as that to celebrate that, to just get them even more revved and more excited about what they're accomplishing, because it's a big thing. This, I mean, as we know, this isn't a diet, this is a lifestyle change. So getting that extra, support and that extra, just level of encouragement is big for a lot of these individuals. So the first week they're on one. At the end of their month, when we want to recap how their first month went, and now they've lost 15, 20 pounds or whatnot, that's another time to just kind of circle the wagons, get back together, and just debrief on that month, how it went, and just celebrate like their huge accomplishment that they've just gone through, and let them know, when's the last time they've lost 15 or 20 pounds. I mean, and through all of these meetings that we're meeting, that's the third one, we've been planting seeds throughout. And that's where your mentorship comes involved into, is planting seeds in regards to the trilogy of Take Shape for Life. Not just the weight loss phase, but how it can help their mind and how it can possibly help their finances with coaching. So in each one of these calls, we've mentioned something somewhere along the line about how it can help them. And as a coach, we're looking for signs. As a business mentor coach, we're looking for different red flags, I guess, that they throw out, or signals that they throw out, where they're looking for additional help. And it's not just weight loss. And at being a new coach, I know there's a lot involved in being, with life and business, and, trying to understand the cadence of everything that we're doing in the system. But that's where your mentorship can kind of come in and have clarity and kind of see these things to help build and grow your business, when you're just trying to get a grasp still on what's going on and what am I doing as a health coach. So that's where we're jumping in. So that was the 1 month call. At that point in time, if they still haven't signed up to be a coach, I guess you could say, we're also talking to them on a separate call about becoming a coach, because we've identified these key personality traits, or their love for the program, or their financial need. So we're getting them on a coaching call. So now that's been our fourth call that we've already been on with them, and they haven't even been a senior coach. So the three of us are together, and then they become a coach. And then we're doing the meet and greet and saying, okay, here's the next steps. This is what you've taken already in your health journey. Well, now here's what we're going to do in your financial journey and to build your business. So we're doing the meet and greet. And then we finally have the senior coach celebration call with them. So it's been like 5 calls that we've been on, just following a system, just following just different, checkpoints that they've hit in their journey, and celebrating them and just getting to know. And by this time, a relationship is built with them. They are understanding our community, and they're not afraid to get onto a 3-way Zoom with another individual, or get their potential clients onto a 3-way Zoom, or their friends, even if they're just referring, because this is just what we do. And they're getting that understanding that this is what we do. Justin, you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And also, it's important to know that, like, and this is something I did in the past, is we do some of these calls, but it's so awesome when you have a client that's like, oh, well, yeah, I've kind of been thinking about coaching, or, oh, I didn't know that's what coaching entails, to kind of drip on them, really find out what other areas that coaching can benefit them, whether it's finances, time for their family, stress, when you really get into that, and then you explain it to them. So I know something I used to think they would already know what coaching was, and I'd be like, hey, are you interested in coaching? Or there was an opportunity where I'd say, hey, let's get on a 3-way call, and then all of a sudden they just open up with all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, I've actually been thinking about coaching. So never prejudge somebody or think that they're not going to be interested in coaching. That's why we use these 5 different calls, like Dom's talking about, because it kind of slowly evolves, right? We don't want to rush anybody into something, but at the same time, we don't want to assume that they know what coaching is, and then 6 months goes by and it's like, well, they just don't seem interested. They haven't said anything. So we have to kind of guide them to see what the benefits of the other 2 parts of the trilogy is. So, I don't know if you guys are realizing this, but we're really, really trying to have you guys understand how important 3-way calls are for any any situation in coaching. I mean, honestly, whether it's struggling, starting a client, signing somebody up as a new client, whatever avenue you feel there's a confidence there that a three-way call would benefit them, then get them on there. And, you know, the other cool thing is too, is two things happen. One, you're learning from your mentorship to get better, right? And two, you're already kind of, like I mentioned in the beginning, you're already supporting them into being a coach where there's some of these things of getting them on a three-way call isn't going to be that big of a deal. So as they come on, you're kind of training them to, hey, you know, so this is what we're going to do with our first client. Now that they're a coach, you know, this is what we're going to do with our first client. We're going to get them on a first week celebration call. Well, if you didn't do with them as a client, they're going to think that's weird doing it with their clients, right? So it's all repetitious. Always think that any client can potentially become a coach. So whatever you do with them, it's really important that down the line that duplication or transfer of skills starts way before they ever get their coaching kit. So I think three-way calls are very powerful. Absolutely, Dom.
Perfect. Yeah, I know. It's funny. I was just doing a healthy happy hour about 2 weeks ago, and I was just kind of speaking to the trilogy. And what we don't realize is how all three are so connected: the healthy body, the healthy mind, and the healthy finances. And just think, if one of them is out of whack, it's throwing the rest of them out of whack. So say your finances are struggling, your mind is, you know, racing, your stress, and because of that stress level, it leads you to, a lot of people run to eating or whatnot. So, I mean, there's levels to the onion that need to be peeled off when we're talking to these clients. And, you know, just seeing it from right in front of you, you look at the initial, or the individual need to lose weight, but, you know, there's a reason why the individuals are in the situation that they're in. And that's where mentorship comes in, is to try to figure out, okay, I know that they need to lose the weight or they need to get healthy, but, you know, why? Where is this stemming from? What's the root cause? And that's kind of where we try to get in and look at. So some of them may be struggling financially, and like I said, it leads to the mind getting stressed, which leads to emotional eating. Some of them may, you know, have gone through maybe, say, some hardship in the family, say a death in the family or whatnot, and emotionally they start getting depressed and they return to food or whatnot. Some of them may have a condition already that's a physical condition to where they're susceptible to weight gain or sugars being out of whack, whatever it may be, and then that starts affecting their mind, you know, which starts in turn affecting their finances. So it's all connected, and that's where the mentorship comes involved, to help try to identify the root cause and go from there. I know before this presentation that we started today, I was talking with Dawn a little bit, and she was kind of walking me through the success that one of the individuals in her team is having. Moved up to executive director this month. You may have seen announcements, Carrie Frazier. And Dawn, I just wanted to see if you can talk a little bit about that and kind of what's been going on in your organization.
Sure, thanks, Dom. Yeah, you guys really nailed pretty much this slide. There's really not much more I can add to it, but what I'll talk about is Carrie, because Carrie is the perfect example for someone who is following the systems, such as leaning on her mentors to get her going as a coach. She was able to, well, you guys are already all senior coaches, but she was able to get her mentors on her calls to begin her acquiring clients, until the point where she felt comfortable enough to do that on her own. And she is so comfortable, in fact, she's actually hit ED this month, just 2 months after becoming a health coach. So now what Carrie is doing is setting up client celebration calls, 1 week celebration calls, 1 month celebration calls, 10-pound celebration calls, you name it. She's doing it, and she's asking all of her mentors, not just one. She's asked her own health coach, myself, Garrett. I mean, she's just really spreading out who she's asking, and she's getting a lot of support there. She's now at about 20 clients, and she now, trying to touch into, who might be interested in becoming a health coach. And again, not prejudging people, because, it's the same thing with acquiring clients. It's the ones that we never think are interested are typically the ones that are interested. And the same holds true with coaching. And really, guys, it's really simple. I mean, it's the same thing as acquiring clients. You identify who it is that you want to get on a call and just set it up. Once you introduce your amazing coach or mentor, put yourself on mute and let them take over the call. There's nothing you need to do other than introduce them and love on them and show them, let your client know how instrumental these people have been in your lives, helping you get to where you are. And sit back, take a lot of notes, because they're going to ask questions that you may not even know the answers to, like I think Dom said. And this is where you're going to see what interests your clients have. So just, schedule it on your regular check-in. Just say, hey, next week we're going to do a explore call, or not an explore call, a call with my mentor. And, nothing different. It doesn't have to freak them out or anything. Just, make it like it's a normal thing that we do. And then it's not a big deal. So if you don't make it a big deal, they're not going to think it's a big deal. And it's really worked. So Carrie has really exploded her business because she is utilizing the levels of support.
That's awesome, Don.
Awesome, Don. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's real life example, really, really close to all of us right now and where we're at in our businesses. So I really appreciate that.
Hey, Dom, I think one more thing too, real quick, as we're touching on the three-way calls. You guys, really important too for business mentors. If as you're setting up these three-way calls and you are connecting them, your clients or potential coaches with Zoom links, make sure that two things. One is, and I love this, how Jamil said he does this. I usually do it about 10 to 15 minutes before the three-way call. I will text them or I will call them. I usually call them. I will text them if they don't answer. But I want to make sure that they've downloaded Zoom. They've fired it up at least once. They're able to connect on their phone or their computer or however it is. That way you're not taking your mentor's time because, as they get busier, they do have back-to-back calls. So if we can just make sure that we're doing that, and then also make sure we're on the call or notifying our mentor ahead of time, hey, I'm going to be a few minutes late. So the biggest thing about these calls is when you get on, you want to edify your mentor coach, how they represent the company, how many people they've maybe worked with, whether they're coaches or clients, so that person can kind of see them in a different eyesight. But when you get on and it's that awkward, your mentor and you're not there and your potential client or coach, then they're making small talk. The call just doesn't kind of go off to the right. It doesn't get the full potential I guess it should get. So just make sure those two things happen. One is we make sure that they're on the Zoom. They know how to use it prior to the call. Whether you want to do it like Jamil does it, right after you send them the link, have them do it right then and there, even if it's a couple days previous, or like I do it, or whoever does it, 10 to 15 minutes before the call, make sure that they understand how to get on the Zoom and make sure that it fires up and they know where their link's at and everything else. So go ahead, Dom. I just wanted to, make sure that.
Can I just add one thing to that as well? Also, you want to make sure that you let your mentor know what you're doing with this call. It's really important to say, okay, we're doing a 1 week celebration, a 1 month celebration. We want to touch base on coaching. Let them know ahead of time so they don't just get on the call and your intention is for them to discuss coaching, but they didn't know that, so they don't even bring it up. So it's really important to let your mentor know what your agenda is with them, and more important, debrief. Let them call your mentor after the call and talk about what happened and what went well. You want to definitely touch base on that afterwards.
Absolutely. So you can transfer the skills. That makes absolute sense. Thanks for bringing that up, Don. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, what you both just spoke about, I mean, hit the nail on the head. And I can tell you, it can bode for very awkward situations if you don't set up your mentor coach that's going to be on the call with you, or if you don't have your client ready to go, or if you're not running on time for that type of call. Because, I mean, it can be a very awkward situation. And it's, we're here to help the best that we can for you. And, you also need to help us help you, and these are the main things that need to happen before the calls and during the calls. So I put up a slide right here. We've been talking about it for the last few slides, really, is assisting with your trilogy glasses on. And if you look at the diagram and if you look at how this chart is set up, I mean, it's you and your health coach. We're really in this together with you, hand in hand, team coaching. And it's your mentorship team wants to do this with you. I can't stress that enough. You may say, well, it looks like my mentor is super busy with their business, their clients, they're acquiring clients left and right, whatever, they're acquiring coaches, and I just don't want to bother them. Or you may be looking at them saying, oh, they have 2 young kids or whatnot, and they're too busy volunteering or whatever it may be. I don't want to bother them. You know what? It's not bothering them. That's what we want to do. We are in this to help individuals achieve what they want to achieve in their lives. And that's not just weight loss. That is yourselves as well and your businesses. And we can't stress that anymore, that, we want to do this with you. We want to help transfer the skill to you. And we want to show you the way. And we want to just link up and do it hand in hand, arm in arm, with you as you go through your journey. Just like you went through your weight loss with your health coach, we want to do this with you as you go through your business journey, becoming a health coach. So you see both you and your health coach together on the call. And if you see, there's 5 clients. And we may have touched on this before in previous boot camps, but per every 5 clients, there's possibly 1 coach lurking in there. So in the example that Carrie had just gone through, that we went through about Carrie, that Don just went through, she has about 20 clients. So out of that group, there's possibly 4 potential coaches that are looking to change their lives in a different way other than weight loss that they're going to be touching and getting to know. But, which 4, who knows? But unless you are going through the steps and getting the individuals on 3-way calls and following the system, you won't know which 4. You may have an idea right off the top of your head, but then you may be surprised that it may be a completely different individual that you thought had no interest at all in doing health coaching. So follow the system with each and every one of your clients and see what happens. Who knows? You may have a different ratio. It may be out of every 5 clients, you have 2. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, guys. So, I mean, this is a crucial spot right here because this starts to build structure for your business. And we all know that, you can run a huge frontline volume, but if you want to create that time freedom for yourself, if you're duplicating yourself, you're able to impact more people, but also support all those people at the same time. I think that's one of the crucial things we start to learn is as we do these 3-way calls, as we start to implement it. And this is for minimum, to be honest with you. There's probably every person can eventually be a coach depending on where they're at in their life. But this is just the minimum to start that support for your business. It's a good position for you to not be overwhelmed. It works with you on your skill set. And then as you start to do that, then it really becomes a matter of who isn't a coach at that point, and you can move it forward. But building this structure creates the time freedom that we want. We already know how to bring on clients at this point. We're trying to learn how to support a coach and see what they want and then support them. And then in turn, you're helping more people, but keeping your time management to a minimum as well.
Yep. And the way once you're on these Rubric calls, your responsibility is just get your client on the call And like we said, sit back, do all the work. We'll do all the work for you. So you want to have a strong edification and intro between your client and your business coach. Then you want to sit back and take notes, like Don said, and see the cadence of what's happening in the Zoom, the questions being asked. Is your coach sharing their story? How is that conversation actually going? You want to just literally sit back, mute yourself, and take the notes. And then after is when you're going to debrief with your mentorship and learn, just simply learn and get those skills transferred over to you, because whether you believe it or not, one day that will be you. You will be the business coach leading that call with your health coaches. I mean, you may look at it and say, oh man, I could never do that. But think back to your current position. Think back to day one or the first month of your current role with your current company or job. If you're doing something other than health coaching, what did you know? You didn't know anything, right? And it wasn't until repetition, it wasn't until, trainings, it wasn't until talking to your mentorship at your work before you really started to become an expert on the field that you're in now. So this transition will happen over time. Don't think that it needs to happen within the first month or two of you being a health coach. This is a journey. Just like weight loss is a journey, it is a journey. Your health coaching business is a journey. So take your time, get your mentorship involved, and one day know that that's going to be you. All right. Justin, I know we had spoke about kind of going over some Q&A with individuals that are on the call. So that's it for the slides pretty much. So now we kind of want to open it up to you guys. You guys have been doing this now for a few weeks in this camp. And I just wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the things you're seeing out there? I mean, we've talked about the map, we've talked about Facebook, we've talked about three-way calls. Justin and I are here to kind of answer some questions and give you guys some feedback and like maybe some personal examples that we've gone through, and see if we can help you on your journeys. So anybody want to start us off?
I'll ask a question.
Sure, Don.
Kind of what I just went over, but just so people on the call can kind of think about this. So, we have clients, and I don't know about you guys, but I was one of those people who told my coach, oh, I'm not interested in coaching. I don't have time for that. Don't ever bring it up to me again, yada, yada, yada. So you don't want to have your clients think that you're setting them up per se. So what would be your advice, to have an agenda with the client or to not have an agenda with the client, or, again, let the mentors be the lead, maybe. All right, so I have a client. She's been on, let's say, 2 months, and they're doing great. And people are starting to notice their weight loss. So rather than me, the coach, bring it up, would you advise letting the mentor bring that up? Or, you know what I'm saying? So best way to approach it with your clients.
So it really depends on the relationship that you have and the background for that individual client, and what some of the feedback is that you're receiving through conversation about the individuals that are starting to recognize. Because I want you all to know that your agenda doesn't matter. It's not about you, okay? So we want to come from a place of love. And if it's been mentioned to you that, lots of people are starting to notice now, and I'm feeling really happy and I love it, then maybe that's somewhere in a conversation before your mentorship is even involved. You can plant the seed like I did too, And, you know, the feeling of helping these individuals has been something that's really changed my life. And I think, you know, you would enjoy it. Let's get on a call with my mentorship team and we can possibly explore that. But if it's just, hey, this individual's lost 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever, and you're like, wow, I know they'd make a great coach because they've lost 50 pounds, that's the completely wrong way to do it, you know? I mean, you want to look for these subtle hints that they're dropping. You don't want to just jump right into it. But I can tell you is if you're following the system and you're getting the individual onto these calls with your mentorship team, those things are going to start to come out and flow naturally. But if it's just because you want them as a coach and they don't have any interest in it or whatnot, it's never going to work out for you. So I would pay attention to those. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. I apologize. I was just going to say, totally agree with you, Dom. I think one of the things we need to know is, and this can be early on, like Dom said, you know, setting up those three-way calls and helping your mentors with stuff. There's opportunities there. So when we're saying look for areas in their life, that doesn't mean just wait for them to say something. That can also mean ask them questions. So if you do have a person who lost 50 pounds and you think they would be a great coach, oh my God, you've lost 50 pounds. How does that feel? All these people are just, you know, staring at you. They're asking you what you're doing, right? Yeah. Well, how does that make you feel? When's the last time you felt like that? Start to get them engaged in finding their why. So really important to understand when we say, well, if they've lost 50 pounds and we're not getting them to coach because we think they'd be a good coach, look for them to say stuff. We can look for them to say stuff, but we can also engage by asking questions. Ask them to get that excitement for them. Explore with them a little bit. So, you know, your friend just told you the other day, you look amazing after losing 50 pounds. You know, who's this friend of yours? Oh, I've known her a long time. We actually did a bunch of programs together or diets together, or we've grown up since middle school. That's awesome. Awesome. So, you know, how did that make you feel? You know, and then at that point, if you can find, the questions or the conversation go in that direction. Hey, you know what? I'm actually really excited for you. I think this would be really cool. You know, I know we did our first celebration call with my mentor a little while back, you know, but I think this would be an awesome opportunity maybe to just get on and maybe explore some opportunities for you. Have you ever thought about supporting your best friend or your friend you've known since high school or your friend that's done all these other programs? Mm-hmm. You know, is she struggling right now with weight loss? Yeah, she's thinking about doing it, but she's not sure. Well, have you ever thought of helping her? Well, yeah, kind of, but I really don't know what coaching is. Or, yeah, kind of, but I don't think I can coach. Well, hey, you know what's awesome is we work as a team. So this would be a great opportunity. How about we hop on a three-way call? And, you know, I know you met Jamil a while back, and he was just so excited for you for just your first week. You know, and now you're down 50 pounds and all these people are noticing. Let's just get on and see what could possibly happen. Would that be something cool for you? Would that be something cool for you? Right? Ask them permission. Ask the question. So when we say looking for stuff, don't just stare at them and hope they say something, right? We want to engage that conversation. Ask them, wow, all these people are noticing. So I'm pretty sure I said that 3 times already, but you guys kind of get the idea of what I'm saying. Don't just stare at them and wait for them to give you information. Well, they haven't really mentioned anything. Well, this is a good chance for us to become that mentor coach, right? If we're going to be moving forward to help our mentor by exploring a little bit with them and then engage them into that three-way call.
Awesome. Is that hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hi, guys. Okay, so if I could just quickly kind of talk about maybe the chatter I have about like getting started with three ways, because it's been something that I've known I have to do for a long time, but I just don't do it. Vulnerable right here. But basically, like, do you guys use the calendar and like, how do you use that when trying to coordinate with other people? Because I always get so hung up. I'm like, oh man, it's just going to be too complicated to get everybody's schedule to work. It's so simple, but for whatever reason, I just always have that in my head. So what ways do you guys make that easier to overcome?
Sure. If I can tell you, you're hitting a question that is something that Ruby and I really struggle with, or struggled with. We, in the beginning, we had known about Simple Systems now for 7 months, something like that. And right off the bat, what we talked about, three-way calls, three-way calls, three-way calls, right? Well, every time we would schedule one, something would happen and our client would cancel, or we would block out our time and we couldn't get through to our mentor coach for that specific time because they had another appointment or whatnot. They had another call that was set up, and we got very just disheartened, and we started saying, well, it can't happen. It's just trying to coordinate all these schedules isn't working. And we took a step back, okay? But what we found to move us forward is get a couple different times from your client, okay? Get a couple different times that are going to work. So by now, your mentor coach should be sharing their calendar with you. So you could see their calendar and then get a couple of different times that that work for your client, really. And then once you know those times, I mean, you kind of want to lead them to some of the times that will work for your mentor coach. But just know that that's just your mentor coach too. That's not your whole support team, okay? And put a message into the support team and just book the call. Just book the three-way Zoom and we'll make some adjustments and somebody will help you from your team. It may not be the direct person that you always work with because of a previous engagement, but somebody in there will make arrangements to help you out. So your concern should just be setting the call. I mean, do your best to try to set it for the individual that you're trying to based on their calendar, but just set it up and somebody will jump on. And once we started utilizing our full mentorship team and business support team is when we started doing a lot more calls. And then our confidence started building. So it's like, well, I'm going to go out and ask the next person. I'm going to go out and ask the next person. And these calls just started lining up. So
yeah, I totally agree. And another thing, Adriana, too, you could do is if, and I've had people cancel on me. One thing really important, make sure that you take it off the calendar and you notify your mentor. I'll be at fault for that a few times, just busy. Sorry, Jamil. But, you can schedule it for the following week out. So, hey, you know what? I totally understand. I know you're busy. You have your kids, dinner time, whatever, something happened. Great. Hey, how about this? Next week when we do our client check-in, let's maybe stay on a little bit longer and let's schedule that Zoom call for that day. How does that work for you? Oh, okay, great. And then as you start doing those, like Dom said, now they're evolving. Now you're having them lined up every week. You're doing them 2 to 3 times a week. It's a week out. You already know that call is going to be time for you to celebrate them or get on and see how their weekly weigh-in was. So you can kind of do that and then, celebrate them or whatever the opportunity is there. Oh, you're busy. No problem. We'll get on next week. So I think, using different tools. Don't just give up either. I had somebody cancel on me 3 weeks in a row and said, hey, Thursday night at 7:30 is just not good for me. Can we do it Friday at 9? And I'm thinking this person's never going to get on, right? Sometimes we still have that chatter doing this for a while. And then guess what? That Friday morning, hey, I got my Zoom going. I'm ready to go at 9. Sorry, it's been hesitancy, all this explanation of stuff that I wasn't even expecting. And then but I think another tool is definitely using your client check-in. Because they're already going to use that time to talk to you anyways.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Great question, by the way.
All right, anybody else have any other questions? Anybody? All right. Well, I think we covered a lot today on the call, huh, Justin?
Absolutely.
We recapped. We went over kind of your journey through health coaching, what the next steps are in your business. We went over three-way calls and their importance. I mean, basically do a three-way call about anything that you can get your mentorship involved in. Dawn kind of shared the success that she's having in her organization with individuals by simply following the systems and doing these calls for just about everything. And now, I mean, we kind of went over a couple of different things where individuals maybe have some different concepts or chatter around the three-way calls. So I'd say some good action steps for next week is let's set up at least three-way calls. I mean, take a look at your clientele. Take a look and try to do maybe one call for each scenario. So if you have a new client, that you want to speak to in regards to the program, try to set up a 3-way Zoom with your mentorship. So that would be one of the calls. The next one would be a celebration call with a current client that you have. Say it's their first week weigh-in, or say somebody has 1 month that they're finishing, or maybe they're going into transition. So that would be a second call, second different type. And then the third one is maybe for an individual that expressed interest in coaching, or that you feel would make a great coach just based on personality and some of the things that they've mentioned. So those are the 3 different calls that we kind of spoke about can have a big impact in helping your business out. So let's try to set up 3. Let's try to set up 1 of each, and let's get together next week and kind of see how successful you guys were, and kind of see some of the results of your hard work, and see whose lives you guys can impact this week in touch.
Awesome, Dom. Thanks so much, guys. Hey, Don, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Don. All right, guys, with that, you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and let's go. Let's get those around us healthy. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.